Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you are joining me, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Really do appreciate it. To all my Twitter people out there, keep doing your thing. Get the name out at Gene Clemens. Instagram at Gene Clemens, pretty much anywhere, social media, you can find me at Gene Clemens. All my Facebook people that follow the page, Coach Gene Clemens, really do appreciate all of you out there for everything that you do. It's interesting, right? Because I just wonder what it is Lamar Jackson did to people. I never hear him. I rarely ever hear him talk, let alone brag about how good he is. In fact, I can't remember the last time I've heard him say anything selfish. Like nothing. Which is interesting, right? Because when people keep putting out these lists of best young quarterbacks and it's almost like they have to add Lamar Jackson in as an afterthought. Oh yeah, right, Lamar Jackson. As if Lamar Jackson has not been the best performing quarterback in the NFL over these time period, not named help me out, people at home. Patrick Mahomes. I don't know why my brain just went dead for a second there. Like, of the young and ascending or arrived, the next generation of quarterbacks, like of those guys, Lamar Jackson has performed better than them all outside of Patrick Mahomes. And the only thing that Patrick Mahomes really has on him is a Super Bowl. All of the other quarterbacks that you name, and this is no shade to any of the receivers that Lamar Jackson has had. But if you took all of the receivers, put them into a pool, and then started ranking them from best to worst of all of the quarterbacks who are considered the young and up and coming. So the names that we hear all the time. We hear Patrick Mahomes, obviously, right? You hear Justin Herbert, who that's a whole different story. You hear Joe Burrow, you hear Josh Allen. Of the up and comers, you don't hear Deshaun Watson's name, but that's because people are acting as if he's like he should be in jail, even though he hasn't even been, hasn't even been tried or even prosecuted, because the people who actually, work in law have decided this is not worth our time. That's another story as well. You don't hear his name. You hear Dak Prescott. Of the young quarterbacks who are all like ascending, the ones that people really think something of, and you only really hear Dak Prescott in the afterthought as well. Let's be real about it. Take all of their quarterback, all of their wide receivers, and then start listing them down. How far down do you go in the list before you get to the best wide receiver that Lamar Jackson has had at his disposal? How far down do you get? I can tell you offhand right now, Lamar Jackson has never had a Diggs. Lamar Jackson has never had a Chase. He's never had a Tyreek Hill. He's never had a either one of the wide receivers from from LA, from the Chargers. He hasn't had any of those guys. He hasn't had any of the guys that are with Dallas or were with Dallas that Dak had. He hasn't had anyone to that caliber. Not at all. And if one of you say Hollywood Brown, I might come through the computer and smack you. Like there have not been receivers at that level. They've also not been asked to do what Lamar Jackson has been asked to do, which is essentially be the passer, the leader, but then also the best rusher on the team as well. They haven't been asked to do that. The disrespectful part is that people keep somehow dismissing what Lamar Jackson did in college as an anomaly. They keep acting as if what Lamar Jackson did in college could not be replicated in the NFL, except he's been replicating it all these years. That's what he's been doing. Every time you look up, Lamar Jackson is doing things that people said he wasn't going to be able to do in the NFL, People said, oh, well, he won't be able to run like that in the NFL because they'll just break him because he's so skinny. Okay. He won't be able to do that because defenses are faster. Okay. Oh, well, they're going to figure him out. You know, he jumped on everybody those first 8 games. They didn't know. But with a full offseason, they're going to figure him out. Last year, ladies and gentlemen, before Lamar Jackson was hurt, he was on pace to have a 4,000, 1,000 season. You can paint all the narratives you want. You can make it sound real tasty. But the fact that he continues to get disrespected is beyond me because he's never done anything braggadocious. He's only ever been kind and respectful to anybody who's ever asked anything of him. So I don't get the hate. Like, and it's not even about him getting a second contract. Like, it's not even about that. He's going to get a second contract. He's going to get paid. They don't have any other choice. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to justify that to your fans? You've got a guy who's an MVP candidate who isn't even in the prime of his career, who you won't pay when at every single turn the quarterback has been paid. And if I'm Lamar Jackson, I tell them, whatever you're planning on paying me, drop another $10 million on it because you're also relying on me to be the number one rusher. Never forget that. But I don't know what he's done to anyone to engender this type of scrutiny, but the scrutiny is maddening. I saw on Twitter where someone was comparing Lamar Jackson to Kirk Cousins, and they said Kirk Cousins is a better passer, a better leader, and a better football player. And if you like Lamar Jackson, it's because you like video games. And if you like Kirk Cousins, it's because you like real football. And the video game, people don't know the difference. And I'm like, me and the people that I know in football, we looked at that statement and went, what? How can you, with a straight face, say that if you don't like Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson, that you don't like football, when the number one rule of football is to do anything to win the game? And last time I checked, Lamar Jackson does that better than almost every quarterback in the NFL. He just knows how to get a win. Does it always have to look pretty? Nope. But I remember Tom Brady winning a lot of games not doing a whole lot early in his career, and people gave him grace. Why? All-world defense, win a championship, you get grace. People out here telling us that Lamar Jackson is not in the top 5 of young quarterbacks because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. But in that same top 5, they put Justin Herbert, who hasn't even been to a playoff game, and he has a better team. Someone tried to argue me about whether or not he had a better team, and it was my fault because I put defense in it, right? And I did it because they have a better defense than Philadelphia. We were talking about Philadelphia, and they were like, well, the arguments were that the Chargers give up more points, and, well, they play in a better conference. I said, well, they play in a better conference, so that makes sense. And they didn't get the correlation because they don't know football. They're stupid. Like, that's what happens when you argue with stupid people on Twitter. They try to come back with stats like you don't have Google, but no nuance for the stats. And my problem is always this: it's stats without nuance. They're useless. They're empty. They're like getting calories. They're like getting all of your calories for the day by drinking a soda. Calorie free, by the way. Actually, everything free: sugar free, calorie free, carb free. Hey, this isn't a ad, by the way, but Monster, y'all really should pay me. Like, y'all really should get me on the payroll. I would do y'all well with these ultras, especially this Peachy Keen. This Peachy Keen is a joint. Anyway, stats without nuance are hollow, and so when we look at that Chargers defense, it's better than the numbers tell you because they have to go against better teams. When you're going against the NFC East, which you only have one legitimate offense in, and all the rest of the offenses are trash, your numbers are going to be skewed. But when you're in a conference where everybody's offense has an ability to be great, you're going to give up more yards. You're going to give up more points. That's how this thing works. That's how it works. So people are arguing Justin Herbert because he threw for 5,000 yards and he had all these touchdowns. But what predicated the 5,000 yards and all the touchdowns? Was it just that the offense was so high-powered because he was good? Or was it a situation like we saw for years with another quarterback in LA now that used to be in Detroit, that everybody wants to give credit for a championship when in reality they played pretty much the same way they played without him? Stifling defense, good running game. Yeah, he put up a ton of those empty calorie yards because that's what he does. And that's what Justin Herbert's done. Oh, yeah, you're going to put up massive amounts of yards when you turn the ball over a bunch. So in those games where he had 300-something yards and 3 touchdowns, go look at the interceptions. Go look at the fumbles. And then go look at the win-loss columns. See, Lamar Jackson, turnovers, whatever, column where it says wins, it's still good. You people are really not going to sit here and tell me that if Lamar Jackson wasn't healthy for the entire season, he would not have won some of those games that they lost with the backup and third-string quarterbacks and fourth-string quarterbacks. Like, y'all really aren't going to sit here with a straight face and tell me that you think Lamar Jackson was going to lose those games that they lost close with backups. The ultimate disrespect. Kirk Cousins was they said Kirk Cousins was a better leader than Lamar Jackson was. Based off what? Kirk Cousins has two of the best wide receivers in football. He's had two of the best wide receivers in football. One year, he had three of the best wide receivers in football. What are we doing here? Oh, that's right. That's right. Lamar Jackson has Andrews. He also has all the elite level running backs in the league. Oh, that's right. No, he doesn't. He has Mark Andrews, who was not Mark Andrews before he met Lamar Jackson. People want to make it seem as if Lamar Jackson, or oh man, imagine Mark Andrews with a real quarterback. He would probably look worse because that real quarterback wouldn't be able to buy time and then find him. The level of disrespect for Lamar Jackson is really baffling to me. People out here still calling him a running back. Like, I get that there's trolls, right? I get that people troll. I get that people want to be right or want to just ruffle feathers. Like, I get that. Like, we're in that world. We're in that world. And I'm okay with it. I'll take it because trolling happens. But what I don't understand is when you see a young man who seemingly is doing everything the way everyone else says they would want to do things, how can you find hate with that? Oh my God, I can't believe he doesn't have an agent. How stupid of him to not have an agent. He's gonna ruin his career not having an agent. Well, guess who's saying that? Agents. Agents who don't want to see other people do what he's doing. Because they might find out, oh snap, I don't have to have an agent to get all this money, so I don't have to watch my 5%, 6%, 3%, 7%, whatever it is, go out the window. Now, I'm not saying that agents are not valuable, because they are. I'm saying that agents aren't necessary if you know your business. If you know your business, then agents aren't necessary. Would I need an agent if I got into situations where I was dealing with big contracts? Probably. Why? I don't know that business. I don't know that business like that. And I don't have time to educate myself right now. But you could guarantee if I get into that business where I needed an agent, I would start doing the research to either A, get somebody that I know and trusted in as my agent to teach them and learn the ropes so that they could take over, or I would learn it myself and say, thank you, I'm going to go at it on my own. Because everything that agent knows, you could know. It's free information. You don't even have to have a college degree to be an agent. Rich Paul told me that. You just have to know the business. And yet every time we look up, Lamar Jackson's being dissed for something. He's being disrespected for some reason. I can't figure it out. It's maddening. When I look at the numbers, I see the college Lamar being held back while everybody else says, oh man, the offense they've built it around Lamar's skill set. No, they didn't. They built that offense around a running quarterback, not a quarterback who has the ability to throw for over 4,000 yards in college. He didn't just win the Heisman because of a couple highlights, ladies and gentlemen. Lamar Jackson was putting up video game numbers in college, passing and rushing. It is not out of the realm of possibility to see a game in college where Lamar Jackson threw for 300 yards and rushed for 200. It is the most asinine thing. It's the most asinine thing ever. I don't understand why we don't get the ridiculousness of some of the statements that we hear. It's almost as if people don't have televisions, or their Google only works when they want to disrespect people. You know where Google works at? When I'm looking at stats on basketball players. The NBA playoffs have been great. It's because I love basketball, obviously. You guys know that. There's something not right with that Boston team. And I know that people have been injured and all that other stuff like that, but everybody's dealing with injuries. So Zoblada, right? Nobody felt sorry for the Lakers that all of their guys got hurt because they still had LeBron, and that should be enough, right? Well, you're telling me all of these teams have these superstars on them. That should be enough. But somehow in every game in this Boston Heat series, somebody's getting blown out. Or blown out and then walking it down, whatever. Something's not right. Can't quite put my finger on it. Something's not right. I'm not willing to say that he's going to walk away with this because I don't know that to be true. I think it's going to still be a great series, but at some point, something's going to have to give with these mood swings, these score mood swings where you get 20-point blowouts on both sides every game, and it's not competitive, and they're starting to make it. No, some point you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to win. There's going to have to be some winning done, right? Or keeping these games close and maybe stealing one. Or else we got to start looking back at the stars. I'm here. I'm not really, it's not that I like criticism. I'm just here for everybody to get criticized the same way. I need y'all to lop some of the criticism on these young stars for Boston, the way that you would lump all of that on LeBron James back when he was 23 and 24 and 25. And over in the other series, we got Luka Doncic out here, which everybody is gushing over, and I'm going, nah. Not my brand. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I think he's got game. He's got game, right? But I find it interesting that someone so young can be so out of shape. I find it interesting that someone so young, knowing what they have in front of them, he can be an international superstar at levels that we haven't seen since Yao Ming. And because he's a guard and he's white and he plays with the ball in his hand, he could usurp the level of international superstardom that even Yao Ming had. But he could also be loved in the States, very similar to Dirk Nowitzki. How is he not in shape? How does he look like that? And why is it that nobody gives him criticism for being out of shape? How does he take such wildly terrible shots and nobody get on him about the wildly terrible shots that he takes? Why are we saying he needs more help when every single game he has two other people on his team scoring 20 and 30 points? Why do we not criticize his field goal percentage the same way that we criticize Russell Westbrook's field goal percentage? Why are we allowing him to skate? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to hold him accountable. Because he's not Magic Johnson. He's not LeBron James. He's not if Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had a kid. If Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had a kid, It would be Kevin Durant, you dummies. If Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had a kid, their kid would be named Kevin Durant. Duh. Ta-da. If a 6'9" point guard and a 6'9", 6'8" small forward with unlimited range and arrogance to believe he can get his gun off against anyone had a kid, why do you think it would be Luka Doncic? It would be KD, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Luka. Because KD is that guy who clearly loves ball above everything else, like those guys do. KD is that guy who doesn't really particularly give a damn about what you people think, but will engage in a lot of back and forth with you because he finds it entertaining. This is Larry Bird and Magic Johnson combined, not Luka Doncic. I don't even think Luka could be that. Larry Bird would throw up in his soup if he woke up one day and shot the ball like Luka did. That would never be a thing. So we got to be careful with how we try to give these things. If we don't hold Luka Doncic accountable, then he'll just be another good player. But he'll never ascend to the level if you guys keep giving him bail. He's the reason they're losing these games. Make no mistake about it. He should be held accountable. Don't let him pass by saying, oh, well, he doesn't have any help. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. If you put LeBron James in Cleveland the first time, on that team with him there, they're better. Why? LeBron James is a more efficient basketball player. LeBron James isn't going to go 11 for 29, not when he was 24 and 25 years old, 26 years old. Hell, almost never. Maybe a little bit more this year because he was asked to just be everything. We shouldn't do that to Luka. We should hold him accountable because we want to see him be great. And if we're not going to do that, then that says a lot about what we really want out of our stars. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, subscribe. Until next time, peace.